Shout out Cairo Chronicles. He's the one who asked for this video. Can you make an arrangement / leveling vid? Some quick da 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 da. Yes, we can. But also like this kind of stuff. He says, well, then I can start posting and using my beats for my music. It's like, yo, don't be afraid to post your music. Whatever you've got, just post it. If you don't know how to arrange, fuck it, just make a looping thing. Like if you listen to old school beats, it's just a fucking loop. It's just like one there. So just do what you can, get your shit out there. I don't like tutorials when people say this is what you have to do, this is the way to do it. So this is all just what I do, this is what I've learned and what I like to do. Take from it what you like of it and apply it to what you want to do and what you think sounds good. But don't let anyone ever tell you that they're the end all be all, because they're not the end all be all. And so like my comment says, I'm not the end all be all. I basically do what I learned from like a Nick Mirror video and some other stuff that I've learned from other producers. Like Versace helped me with like my settings on my soft clippers. We're gonna get into all this. Let's shut the fuck up, take a bong rip. I've got a sample pulled up from the How to Make Arcade Samples video, so we're gonna throw some jumps on that real quick, and then we'll talk leveling and arranging. Who's that sample we made the other day? Basically what I do on my drums, just simple EQs. I just have to cut out those like low ends and shit. Just gives it make a little bit more like of a snappy feel. And also just put this up a little bit over here. So yeah, just make it a little more snappy. Make sure you're going in here. Usually normalizing. Sometimes you want to trim it, and then I definitely want to clip and boost if it's not hitting hard enough. Yeah, I even just like to, I don't know, that's probably a useless EQ, but I don't fucking care. Really simple hi-hats. Got a few stops, just a couple little spots where it has a few chops, but got that 30% to the right. That's what I like to do. I have simple stuff that helps with the mixing, just keeping everything spread out. So we got like one hi-hat like 30 to the left, with the other open hat 22 to the right. We got this hat 33 to the right, or 30 to the right rather. We got this snare is going right to left. We just got things from, we got a lot of things panned. The only thing that's actually down the center right now is the main snare there. And then the 808 and the kick are going to be down the center. And then when we made if you watch the video, we made the sample has so much movement. None of the sample is centered. It's all moving around. So nothing's really centered except for like the snare, the 808, the kick, and then like the vocal's going to be around the center too, obviously. Alright, pretty simple 808, mostly following the root notes until right here at the end. But just simple repetitive bounce. And then lastly, let's get a kick up in here. I've been doing lately with my kick, so I'll mute my 808 and then I'll do a separate kick pattern and see what happens when I do them both separately rather than like layering them on top of each other. Alright, we wrote this kick with no regard to the 808, but let's see how the 808 sounds with it. Not really good. Something like that. Alright, here's where the leveling comes in. Alright, the tutorial starts now. Alright, so here's how I leveled. I pretty much got this from Nick Mirror. What I used to do is I used to just make everything as loud as I fucking could, right about where I was about to clip. But I don't do that anymore. I base everything around, and this helps. The reason I do this is because it makes everything consistent. Because like when I turn my focus right, I don't know if I've turned up the same volume every time, so I don't know if I'm hearing it the same every single time. But I know if I make sure that my 808 is the loudest thing in the mix, and I click on my 808 here, and then I watch over here, and I make sure, alright, it's just a little bit under, so I'm gonna hit control. I'm gonna hold down control, and I'm gonna move this, because it makes it move really slow. Whereas if I wasn't holding control, it'd move like that. I'll hold control, and I'm just gonna slowly move it until we're at -6. Alright, now the 808 is at -6. So if you put every single beat, if your 808 is at -6, then you level everything else around that, and then when you listen back to your beats, you're listening in the same place as where you listen to all your music and you listen to everything, so you can compare apples to apples. Like I export my shit, I listen in my AirPods, I listen in my car, and I've listened to so much music in my car and in my AirPods that I know how to compare it. And so like I know that sometimes if the snare sounds right through this headphones, it's actually a little bit loud in those places, so I need to turn it down. So you just gotta experiment, listen back, compare your shit, and just honestly evaluate your shit. But if you put your 808 -6, and then we're gonna get everything around that. So actually the kick's actually gonna be a little bit louder. We're gonna put the kick just around, right around -3, which might be a little loud. You can experiment with this. Like sometimes my kicks I think might be a little loud, but you tell me. So we'll go around -3 for that. So we got -6 in the kick and -3. And if we have that every time on here, then we're gonna be consistent. And then from there, I don't really measure these. The only thing I really measure is I make sure that the snare has to be below -6. That's all I really care about. So it's below -6. It might sound a little quiet, might sound a little loud, but I know it's gonna sound good there when I go to other places because I've done this enough now. And now I need to make sure my accenting snare is below that. I don't want my accenting snare to be louder than that. So my snare goes by, my 808 is -6, the kick is -3. The snare it has to be below the 808 and the kick. The accenting snares have to be below the snare. Then the hi-hat just has to like sound right, maybe like around the, I keep my hi-hat a little bit loud. I think that sounds good. And like I like the way it reacts with like the kick and the 808, but maybe around the same as the snare. And then I don't want any of my open hats to be louder than that hat. Like maybe like the one that I sort of use as the crash can maybe be around the hi-hat. That's just what I like to do, but I don't have a specific number. And then yeah, just really just using my ears and leveling around them. We've got all our stuff panned, so there's room for everything. I put on the I don't have a specific number that I put the melody at, just wherever it sounds good. And the next most important part, all right, I use TR5 Classic Clipper. I do not want to give any advice on the soft clipper because I haven't used it forever. I don't know, but if you want to use something that just comes with FL Studio, just find the Fruity Soft Clipper. Like let's just throw it on there and just see how the default Fruity Soft Clipper sounds. Maybe let's go. I used to go threshold, I don't know, 16 for some reason. I don't know, I just made something up. 16 and then maybe post gain 92. I mean, honestly, that hits. That sounds really good, honestly. But then the thing that I actually use, I use the TR5 Classic Clipper. And the settings that I use are 0 on the output because we don't want the output clipping, and then 5 on the gain because I find that's where I like the gain, and negative at the gain, and then -4.1 on the slope, so it's a little bit more hard cutting. And that was recommended to me by Versace, who's like a professional, so like that's why I trust it. I didn't come up with that. I didn't come up with these settings, and I didn't come up with the mixing tactics. Nick Mira, Versace, shout out them, and I've just like taken that and used it and learned and tweaked it to my liking. So let's hear how this sounds now. Yeah, okay, that's just hard as fuck. That's even harder than the soft clipper. So spend a little bit of money. I think it was like 50 bucks. But the soft clipper sounds good too, actually, though. The soft clipper has a really particular tone with 808s. I feel like that sounds good. That 808 sounds dope. So yeah, then you can maybe tweak shit after, but I think that sounds good, man. I think that sounds good. And then arrangement, I just delete all that. Let's split by channel. I can click at the bottom one, hold shift, click on the top one. We grabbed all those, pull them onto there, it names them. That's on FL Studio 20. If you're updated, grab all this. Let's just go out. This is what I do. I already arranged my sample and how I want to arrange my beat. So I can just pull that on there. We're just gonna have like a simple intro and then first half of the chorus. This is what I like to do. We'll just take out some stuff. We'll just do like a simple version of everything. So take out like the accenting snare, the accenting hat, and just the 808. Save the kick and some extra snares for some swag in the second half of the shit. And maybe like we can give it a bar, and then just come right back into the same exact thing. Actually, looks like I did this one different. So let's actually take this whole thing and shift it over one. And it's still what we want. So intro, and then first half of the chorus, second half of the chorus, little pause at the end into the verse, and then build back up, and maybe a little pause right here on the last snare. So hold shift and right click to cut that like that. And then maybe we'll have a little section right here at the end with just with none of the 808 or the kick. And then yeah, intro, chorus, verse, repeat. Intro, chorus, verse, pre-chorus, you know, chorus. Then just repeat the last thing again, man, and I don't know, throw on a automation clip. yeah, then we gotta start throwing our beat tag. That's the final beat. I hope that helps. Yeah, just don't overthink shit. Just keep it easy, keep it simple, and just do what you like. I like the way this shit sounds, so I've practiced a fuck ton. You gotta practice a fuck ton. You gotta practice. You gotta export beats. You gotta go listen to them in different places and be like, wow, my snare's way too loud. Note to the future: don't make my snares that loud. Blah blah blah, shit like that. So, honest evaluation of your shit, and yeah, man. I hope that helps. So. Can you see the whole arrangement there? Yeah. All right. So, hope that helps, man. Shout out Cairo for the suggestion. Appreciate being, appreciate watching, comment, like, subscribe. If we get 75 likes on the video, y'all getting some free samples. So run it up. Appreciate you guys. Let's go.